of the college management will be honoring the late Chief Mrs. Felicia Abimbola Odugbeson, one of the founding mothers of Wited, former rector of this great institution, and former West Africa Regional Coordinator for Wited Project, by naming the Wited House after her. Her children will be joining us virtually to attend the ceremony. The late Chief Mrs. We are sure that this conference will be a memorable and highly educational event. We truly value your participation and support for this conference. I wish you a very pleasant stay here in Yaba College of Technology, a beautiful city of Lagos, and a productive and successful meeting. Thank you so much for coming and for your attention. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, àjùmọ̀ṣe gbogbo wa ni. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mabel Loga Organizing LOC Chairperson, Dr. Mrs. Fumilayo Duarte. Thank you. Quickly, please, I would like to recognize the presence of some other very important personalities amongst us. I wish to introduce and recognize the presence of Dr. Mrs. Loretta Ofodile. She is the former Wited coordinator, the immediate past Wited coordinator. Mr. Uduak Inyang Udo, the director of Consult. He is here representing and felicitating with us. We recognize you, sir. Dr. Mrs. Victoria Sahida Denle, the Southwest coordinator Wited from Laspotech. Dr. Mrs. Iroi Doro, Wited coordinator, Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. We represent also the Mrs. A.F. Adekunle. She is the General Secretary, Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. Thank you.
On this note, I would like to invite to the podium the Yabatech Wited coordinator, Dr. Oluseun Popola, to give the opening address.
Thank you, everybody. We welcome you once again to Yaba College of Technology, the first higher institution in Nigeria, and we are still the first and still the best. Yes. Let's blow our trumpets. Yes, thank you so much. We want to recognize I want to greet the mother of the day, who is our mother, the ably represent the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by our wonderful mother, Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello, and I will stand on existing protocol. But we want to also appreciate the representative of the Deputy Governor's wife, and with Mrs. Oluremi Amzat, and also the SSG of Lagos State, Mrs. Folashade Jaji, ably represented by Mrs. Kemi Durosimieti. You are welcome to Yaba College of Technology, Mas. And I also want to greet and appreciate our wonderful rector. He has been supportive of Wited course in Yaba College of Technology, and he has contributed immensely to this conference and to our gathering today. We also recognize the management and staff of Yaba College of Technology for their unflinching support towards the success of the first international hybrid conference. Also, we also recognize and greet our mother. We also recognize and greet our mother, Professor Ibiyemi. So Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello, for our support in encouraging us and in being solidly by us. Thank you so much, ma. We also want to recognize and greet our mom, who is the national coordinator of Wited, Mrs. Princess Regina Amadi. Thank you, ma, for coming all the way from Owerri. And we also greet and appreciate the Southwest coordinator, Wited coordinator, Dr. Said Adenle. Thank you, ma. You are welcome, ma. Who is in Laspotech, the coordinator for Wited Laspotech. The coordinator of Wited Ilaro, thank you so much for coming, ma. We recognize you. And we also recognize every other Wited members being represented here. We appreciate our wonderful rectors, the rector of Kaduna Poly, represented by Dr. Lawal. You are welcome, ma. The rector, you are welcome, sir. The rector of Akanuibian Polytechnic, we greet you, ably represented by our mom, Dr. Achilike. You are welcome, ma. And we also appreciate everyone that is here, seated in this wonderful place today. The LOC has been wonderful. Wited executives too are wonderful. They have done so much tirelessly, making sure that this event comes to light. We also want to appreciate the we also want to greet and welcome the Kappa SG, now known as Atupa, Mrs. Jau Fal, for our support for the bridging the gender gap in TVET institutions. Thank you so much. We have the 2 days conference is loaded as explained by the LOC chairman. But we want you to enjoy the sights and sounds of Lagos and know that you are in a very warm environment. Today, we are going to be having wonderful, our mother in the house is also here, who is the first national coordinator of Wited, our mom, engineer Mrs. Idiat Amosu. You are welcome, ma. And also Dr. Jokotade Owosho, who is joining us online. Also, the Wited coordinator for West Africa, Professor Smile Dinsey, is also joining us online. And the education specialist, Ms. Terry Neal, is also participating online. You are welcome, ma. And also, we appreciate the coordinator for Wited, Ms. Consolata, who is joining us online from Kenya. And finally, the Wited coordinator for Malawi. Thank you for joining us online. So we have so many things in store today, but Wited has come a long way, and we want to also appreciate all that women had done in bridging the gender gap for the girl child in TVET, in technology-based education. So thank you so much. We want to welcome you all. Once again, you are welcome to the first citadel of learning in Nigeria. Thank you. God bless you.
Please let the clap be louder for our Wited coordinator, Yabatech. Thank you very much. At this point, I would like to introduce the national coordinator, Princess Lady Regina Ilechi Amadi, PhD, to give us her welcome address. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. While resting on already established protocol, I would like to recognize our mommy in the house. The first Wited coordinator in Nigeria, Engineer Amusu. Thank you, ma, for being here. And I would like to stand on existing protocol. Welcome address by the National Coordinator of Women in Technical Education and Employment, Wited, Nigeria, at the opening ceremony of the first hybrid conference being held at Yaba College of Technology, Lagos, on 22nd December 2020. Very distinguished guests and friends of Wited, it is with great delight that I welcome all of you to yet another event of Wited. Here, Wited is performing a sense of establishment, doing what they know best to do. I would make it happen as I target. There is no doubt that the women folk are naturally endowed with intellectual capacity and uncommon inspiration to bring our best in an environment if given the opportunity. Educate a woman, you educate a nation adage. It's not just for gainstaying, but a fact. Napoleon said, and I quote, "Give me good mothers, and I will give you a good nation." Unquote. For sure, with Wited activities in Yabatech, courtesy of our God-fearing Yabatech rector, Engineer Obafemi Omokube. He is getting a piece of the action together with other rectors in Nigeria. Women in Technical Education and Employment, Wited, is laudable project instituted since 1988 by the Commonwealth Association of Polytechnics in Africa, CAPA, now known as Commonwealth Association of Technical Universities and Polytechnics in Africa. Wited was designed to exist in Africa's sister institutions with the mandate to identify and tackle factors which inhibit significant participation of girl child in mathematics, science, and technical education. The Committee of Rectors of Polytechnic heads in Nigeria, in their efforts to ensure actualization of Wited objective, established Wited National Coordinating Committee, that's Wited NCC. This was formally inaugurated in Abuja on 22nd October 1997 by the then head of state, General Sani Abacha, with the sitting rector, Chief Mrs. Felicia A. Odubesan of blessed memory, the former rector, Yabatech, Lagos. She was the first co-head Wited chairperson. And she also served as the Wited Western Regional chairperson that she coordinated for West Africa. Engineer I. Odubeso served as the national coordinator, with now Mrs. J.O. Osho as the national secretary then, between 1995 to 2002. You can see what the Yabatech coordinator for Wited was talking about. Yaba takes the lead in in technical education in Nigeria, and they're still there. I thank God for that. And at least seeing Engineer Musi says that you people are still on. The main aim of the project is to enhance the participation of women in technical education at all levels. Hence, Wited is sponsored by COHES, as it is their brainchild. Everything about Wited is being sponsored by every rector in an institution. As I stand here today, and Nekede is still standing in as the quarters of Wited in Nigeria, my rector is responsible. And I thank God that they are all living to that responsibility. And I can see even in this place, my registrar being here today of Yabatech, I know he is here mandatorily to represent the rector. And I know that they are doing the needful, as we all can say today. Today's conference and other activities being organized by Yabatech Wited is giving credence to Wited establishment and a thumb up for the COHES. Permit me to submit this great audience, to this great audience, that by the grace of Almighty God and through the support of a committed and purposeful academia, the rector of this citadel of learning, Dr. Femi, a lot has been achieved by Wited Yabatech. These days, actualization is a reflection of the collective efforts of the rector-led management and members of Wited in this institution, led by the chapter coordinator, Dr. Mrs. Popola M.O. Doc, I appreciate you and your executive for your constant participation in all Wited activities, especially for taking this giant stride to organize the first hybrid conference and the memento of our first Wited COHES chairperson, Chief F.A. Odubweso, in the Wited house or building in Yabatech. I don't know how to thank Wited, the rector, the management, and members of Wited of Yabatech for this singular honor you've done to Wited Nigeria. And I ask God to bless you while our mother will also continue to rest in peace. Thank you so much. I salute you, Dr. Loretta Waneka Ofodele, the Wited NCC member, a national executive of TED, Nigeria. I thank you so much, for continuing to guide and protect Wited here in Yabatech. Our hardworking, amiable zonal coordinator, my beloved Dr. Mrs. Victoria O'Shire, who is here present. I thank you for your guidance, your contribution to make sure that Wited objective come light. God bless you. To our distinguished guests, I welcome you to this special occasion to ensure the solution gender parity challenges through disseminating knowledge and information in this timely conference with the theme Gender and Sustainable Development Goals in Africa, Challenges and Progress. The mother of the day, Your Excellency, Dr. Mrs. I. Samuel, who is ably represented. I thank you for sending your representative, but a revamp of policies is required for actualization. Please. The wife of the deputy governor, ably represented, please always be there for Wited Yabatech and the nation. The secretary of CAPA, the keynote addressee, who is there or who is already here with us in camera, we appreciate. The lead paper presenter, we say thanks for accepting us. Our distinguished guests of honor, Terenil and Ms. Chaja, we thank you so much, and we say please always incorporate us in your programs. Your presence here today added value to the existence of Wited, and it's a testimony that establishment of Wited is being realized. You have made our day. I pray you to continue to encourage us as great women of reckoning you are. Let us continue to work together and support one another in individual and collective endeavors to move not just Wited forward, but the nation and Africa to meet the Western world as the developed world. Once again, I want to appreciate all NCC members here present. I know Ilaro is here. Akanibian Federal Polytechnic, Uwana is here. Nekede is here. Latatech is here. And lots of others. And some of our executive in National Wited. I say thanks for doing the needful. And thank you all for coming. God bless.
Round of applause for the national coordinator, Princess Regina Elechi Amadi. Thank you, Ma.
We have listened to the chairperson LOC. We have listened to the coordinator, Yabatech Wited, and we have listened to the national coordinator Wited. The next logical thing for us to do now is to listen to the chief host, the man who has created the enabling environment for us to gather here today. I want to invite to the podium the rector, Yaba College of Technology, Engineer Obafemi Omokugbe, who is here represented by the Deputy Rector, Administration, Dr. Mrs. Ukabam.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite and recognize the presence of Her Excellency, the wife of the Lagos State Governor, being ably represented by Mrs. Abosede Ogundimu. I would like to introduce her now and ask her to please come to the high table. Mrs. Abosede Ogundimu, representing Her Excellency, the First Lady of Lagos State. You're welcome. Thank you for your patience. Okay, ma.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here standing in for the rector, my rector of Yaba College of Technology, Engineer Obafemi Omokugbe, who has to attend to official assignments at Abuja, and he has asked me to deliver his speech and to welcome everyone. So I will go straight to his speech. Her Excellency, the Lagos State Governor's wife, ably represented. Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor's wife, ably represented. Our lead speaker, presenter, the Registrar Yaba College of Technology, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to the 2020 Wited International Conference with the theme Gender and Sustainable Development Goals in Africa, Challenges and Progress. There's a powerful nexus between gender equality and sustainable development. Sustainable development cannot be achieved in Africa if half of its population of the continent is excluded from development process. Hence, promoting women's effective participation in the management of African resources will contribute to tackling the resource cost towards an equitable, transformative, and sustainable development. Of note is Yabatech's contribution to Wited in Nigeria in particular, and even in West Africa. Our previous presenters have highlighted the roles of Yaba College of Tech, the first cradle of higher institution in Nigeria, role in Wited development to date. And to add to that, Yaba College of Tech, both in the academia and non-academic sector, have indeed promoted Wited affairs. We have women at the helms of affairs. We have women deputy registrars, heads of department, deans of school, directors, deputy rector. These have for the purpose of promoting women effective participation in the management of the college. Yabatech recognizes women's crucial role in achieving sustainable development in Africa. And we have taken great action to protect women's rights by launching YCT Yabatech Sexual Harassment and Gender-Based Violence Policy on the 24th of November, 2020. Yabatech has constantly unleashed women's potential by encouraging them and also as asking philanthropists to support our women education. Like, for example, during the Okoya's celebration of birthday last year, 4 ladies in IME, Industrial Maintenance and Engineering Department, were sponsored for their HND program. So Yabatech has actually empower women, especially indigenous women, ladies in the school, to ensure that they finish and graduate and are empowered appropriately. I believe the deliberation of the team at this conference will provide solutions to the challenges of the linkage between gender equality and sustainable development in Africa. Thank you and God bless you. Engineer Obafemi Omokugbe, Rector, Yaba College of Technology. God bless.
Please let the round of applause be much bigger and higher and lengthier and longer for the chief host who is hosting us today. Thank you very much, Ma. At this point, we're going to see the documentary on Wited and Yabatech as a whole. On Wited and Yabatech as a whole. So we are going to have to do that through the help of the multimedia. Thank you. For our guests here, ma and sirs, we will make an arrangement where you can just go over to this place so that you can watch from the screen. Thank you.
The African girl child, plagued with hardship and informal education, receives a hand of fellowship to engage in technical education for economic empowerment through Women in Technical Education, WITED. WITED are female teachers who decided to go beyond the call of duty to reach out to the less privileged girls and women in the society. The African girl child, plagued with hardship and informal education, receives a hand of fellowship to engage in technical education for economic empowerment through Women in Technical Education, WITED. WITED are female teachers who decided to go beyond the call of duty to reach out to the less privileged girls and women in the society. They offered them technical skill through relevant education. WITED was designed by CAPA to exist in Africa technical universities, polytechnics, and colleges of technology to address low involvement of the girl child in science and technical education at all levels.
It was conceptualized in 1988 by CAPA, which is now known as ATUPA. CAPA is Commonwealth of African Polytechnic, Commonwealth of African Polytechnic.
The African girl child, plagued with hardship and informal education, receives a hand of fellowship to engage in technical education for economic empowerment through Women in Technical Education, WITED. WITED are female teachers who decided to go beyond the call of duty to reach out to the less privileged girls and women in the society. They offered them technical skill through relevant education. WITED was designed by CAPA to exist in Africa technical universities, polytechnics, and colleges of technology to address low involvement of the girl child in science and technical education at all levels.
It was conceptualized in 1988 by CAPA, which is now known as ATUPA. CAPA is Commonwealth of African Polytechnic, Commonwealth of African Polytechnic Association, but the name has now been changed to ATUPA. They conceptualized WITED to address the underrepresentation of women in Tibet institutions, in Tibet courses, because women were found to shy away from technology-based courses, science-based courses, and engineering courses.
The objective of WITED is to bridge the gender gap and promote the participation of girls and women in science and technology education for national and regional development.
The goals of WITED, which is the brainchild of CAPA, amongst its numerous objectives include the development of strategies to enhance the participation of women in technical education at all levels for economic empowerment, the development of partnership, collaborations, and linkages with WITED international development partners, to advocate for more women participation in all Tibet fields, ranging from learning to work environment, to institutionalize affirmative action, in institutions of learning and leadership positions in the world of work, and encourage role models and mentors for Wited. The immense benefits of being a member of Wited include the forum where the redesigning of curricula in Tibet institutions could take place in order to accommodate industry and gender-responsive requirements.
Late Licia Odubeson, the first female rector of Yaba College of Technology, who attended the Kappa meeting in 1988, was mandated to start Wited in Nigeria, and that makes Yabatech the first institution to commence Wited in Nigeria.
This is the first time having this sort of function or occasion. And for you to have included me after I have left about 12 years ago, I am overwhelmed and very grateful to God. And I am very taken aback at the way Wited has grown. From a few women, now the whole hall is filled with women. And it is waxing stronger. Years, almost 20 years after it was established. It started on a very loose foot, but now it's a giant, not only in Yabatech, but in Nigeria. Because I get communications from all over the chapters in Nigeria. We give glory to God. It is His doing. We thank Him, we glorify Him, we praise Him for what He has done.
Yabatech has continued to set the pace for Wited in Nigeria through the leadership of Engineer Amusu, the first national president, Joko Tade Owosho, as the first national secretary and the first president of Yabatech chapter. In Yabatech chapter, Wited membership is mandatory for female academic and non-academic staff. Yabatech management recognized the importance of Wited in the college.
It's really kind of that women, if a man becomes director of the college, one of the deputy rectors must be a woman. And also a certain percentage of administrative positions allocated to women. That we have done because we see Wited members as mothers in the college, and the functions of mother is to foster unity and harmony and peace, and of course peaceful coexistence of all stakeholders, both staff and students in the college. Then women are also expected to provide support in the actualization of the college core values. Okay, so that will maintain standard in Yabatech so that we will still be the first and still the best. So we will expect Wited to collaborate and initiate research that will be beneficial to the college and the society. So, and of course, finally, we want Wited to liaise with employers of labor in securing more favorable working conditions for female graduates. So, in our own case, this administration will pledge to continually support Wited in all our activities, particularly in our activities role as a role model for the students. So we'll encourage them to mentor these younger ones and encourage them so that they become more passionate in getting involved in technical education.
Past presidents of Wited in Yabatech are Dr. Joko Tade Owosho, Mrs. Hannah Akumbi, Dr. Loretta Ofodile, and the incumbent president, Dr. Shin Pokuola. So far, Wited Yabatech has organized and sensitized women leaders, policymakers, school heads, and career teachers to support girls and women enrollment in science, technology, and technical education. Wited has organized programs to assist career women in TVET to balance work life. In every quarterly meeting, members acquire skills. Some have been trained in production of liquid soap, germicide, and antiseptic. This was also extended to the community through partnership with Rose of Sharon Foundation, chaired by Mrs. Olorunso Alakija, where widows and orphans were also trained. The chapter also collaborated with South African Agricultural Research Council to train women in hydroponics agriculture. Wited has a building currently known as Wited House. The chapter operates a cooperative society where members can access loans and save towards retirement. Some of the proposed programs of Wited are to set up a daycare center for underage children of staff and students, and a multi-purpose thrift shop where members can purchase essential household items. The first international conference with the theme Gender and Sustainable Development Goals in Africa, Challenges and Progress was made possible by the local organizing committee, ably chaired by Dr. Fumi Doherty.
The theme of the Wited First International Hybrid Conference, year 2020, is Gender and Sustainable Development Goals in Africa, Challenges and Progress. This theme was carefully chosen by the local organizing committee with the understanding that women empowerment has a critical role to play in the actualization of all the 17 SDGs in Africa. Africa cannot make significant progress with the SDGs if half of the population are not empowered, if half of the population do not have access to quality education. Statistics show that women account for over 60% of the world's illiterate. Sustainability cannot be achieved with gender inequality. Studies have found that women in sub-Saharan Africa spend productive hours collecting water, often to the detriment of schooling. This is because women bear the brunt of food, water, and energy provision for their family. Water shortages and deforestation mean that women and girls have to walk longer distances to fetch water and collect firewood. We need to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation in Africa, which is the SDG 6. The conference will be an avenue for Wited members across Africa to discuss the challenges and progress made in ending gender stereotypes. Since all areas of life relate to gender equality, efforts must be made to cut the roots of gender discrimination wherever they appear. We are using the conference to advocate for end to violence against women, to promote the girl-child education and gender parity. Women must have equal opportunities in building a shared and sustainable future. We hope that at the end of the conference, the voice of Wited will be heard by the relevant stakeholders. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies. I am very pleased to be amongst you today. My name is Idiat Adireme Amusu, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. My advice to Wited right now will be, one, that we should conduct a gender audit to find out where exactly is Wited, what has Wited gained in the period that it came into existence, and what is the next step. This is taking advantage of the increase in networking and knowledge of all the professionals in this technical space. I would also want to say that today that the role of science and technology is improving quality of life in more prominence. It is more prominent now for women to be more active and also to contribute their own quota to alleviate poverty and promote sustainable development. It is very important for us, Wited members, to set ourselves together first to reset, to reposition, and to renew. One, to reset the perception of the family influence on the participation of young girls and women in STEM. The second one, which is to reposition, that is to reposition the place of women in STEM and also to contribute to the national development socially, culturally, and technologically through increasing awareness of Wited and their responsibilities, to continue mentoring the younger ones coming in behind and coaching members on how to advance in their different career choice. The third one is to renew the part of women in STEM. To renew the part of women in STEM in order to close the diversity gap by attracting, retraining, and advancing the place of women in the technical educational space. Thank you.
I pray that you will all end well. Because it's not everybody that starts well in Yabatech that ends well. And it's not only in Yaba, and it takes the special grace of God to even get to the stage of retiring. You are not kicked out. You didn't die on the job. You didn't end up in jail. It's the glory of God. And I pray it will be the same thing with you.
Thank you very much to the team that puts together the documentary. We wish to implore our dignitaries, our special guests, that the Kappa SG's citation will be read. And while that is going on, since it's going to be a virtual event, the picture will still be on, and then her citation will be read. So that we're going into the citation of the Kappa SG, Mrs. Jahufa. This will be taken by the Vice Chairperson of Wited Yabatech Chapter, Ms. Joke Olojede.
Good morning, distinguished women and gentlemen. It's my privilege to present the citation for Madam Jaufal this morning. Madam Jaufal is a Secretary General of the Commonwealth Association of Technical Universities and Polytechnics in Africa, CAPA. Madam Jaufal was born in the Gambia, where she did her primary and secondary education. She holds undergraduate and postgraduate degrees in education from the University of the Gambia and University of Huddersfield, UK, respectively. Her career began as a lecturer at her alma mater, the Gambia Technical Training Institute, GTTI, in 1986, and rose through the ranks as head of Business Studies Department, Director Academics, to her previous position of Director General, which she assumed in July 2013. Madam Jaufau was appointed Kappa Executive Board Member and Country Representative for the Gambia in 2017. She has been an active member and participated in numerous activities of Kappa, both locally and internationally. The Gambia Technical Institute, the Gambia Technical Training Institute, which Madam Fowl headed as Director General, have been an active member of Kappa for numerous years. It is the Gambia's premier TVET institution, established in 1980, and has since taken the lead in the promotion of TVET in the Gambia. During her tenure as head, the institution has decentralized its activities to cater for the mushrooming rural population by opening rural centers in growth areas. The government of the Gambia, having recognized the importance of TVET and the role played by GTTI, have endorsed the upgrading of the institute to a technical university. Madam Fa played a pivotal role in this transformation. She was a member of the National Examination Committee and the International Examination Committee for the West African Examination Council, WAEC. The committee advises on the development of examinations, aptitude tests, and research in the Gambia and member countries. She has served as a governing council member at the National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority, responsible for setting national standards and monitoring performance to requirements by all tertiary and higher educational institutions in the Gambia. She is married to Honorable Samba Fowl and blessed with children. Madam Fowl has traveled widely and attended numerous conferences as a participant and as a resource person. She is a passionate champion for TVET in forums, both nationally and internationally. Please welcome our keynote speaker's address. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, for the detailed introductory statement of my career. I will say that I am humbled by the presence of dignitaries, TVET practitioners, and experts who are sharing this platform with me. Chairperson, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols observed, I bring special greetings to you from my home country, the Gambia, the smiling coast of Africa. The reality of COVID-19 has compelled me to join this meeting virtually like many others. Let me also acknowledge the presence of my colleagues at the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology of the Gambia, who are here with me, Fatou Jane and Amin Jai, and colleagues at the Kappa Secretariat, notably Dr. Consolata Mutishia and Mildred Nafula. Madam Chairperson, please allow me to thank the organizers for selecting me as guest of honor and keynote speaker. It's an honor to be associated with such a noble institution. I also wish to thank you for the vigor in ensuring that the Wited Yabatech College of Technology chapter continues to be vibrant since inception in 1997, and for continuing to inspire other countries in Africa. We at CAPA, we are so impressed with the participation of Wited Nigeria during the CAPA International Conference in Kigali, Rwanda last year. Chairperson, please allow me to make my presentation on the conference theme, Gender and the Sustainability or the Sustainable Development Goals in Africa, Challenges and Progress, but I'll be focusing more on Wited and CAPA. Can the host allow me to share my slides, please? I'm asking for permission from the host. Thank you very much, host. That is the title slide. Because of the remote participation of the conference, I decided to engage myself with slides that would make the presentation a lot more livelier than having just to read a speech. It is going to be in a form of that's the structure with the table of content, introduction, background, history of Wited at CAPA, and then the Wited project itself, which has the implementation strategies, the achievements, and the challenges, followed by SDGs and Wited, the correlation between SDGs and Wited, then the recommendations, and finally the conclusion. I wanted to bring in a little bit of background of CAPA. As you may know from the literature that had already been circulated, that it was established in 1978 after the confab of Commonwealth Education Ministers in Accra, Ghana in 1977, where the Commonwealth Education Ministers felt there was a need to get a body, an association that would look into the issues of technical education in Africa. And then a year later, CAPA was formed. The headquarters seat since inception is at the Technical University of Kenya in Nairobi, Kenya. And that is where my office is. CAPA has a core mandate of promoting technical skills and professional development in member countries. Since inception, there has been quite a number of major achievements recorded by the association. But mainly, the introduction of entrepreneurship was mainstream, was institutionalized into the curricula of member institutions. The Wited that we are celebrating today was conceptualized and then implemented by CAPA. Recently, we relaunched the Wited Kenya chapter because yes, Kenya is the seat of CAPA, but apparently the Wited initiative was dormant. And as a result, we were inspired really by, like I said, the participation of Nigeria during our international conference last year. And therefore, we saw the need, to relaunch the Kenya Wited chapter. That was done, and it was quite a successful one with 60 members, member institutions, opting and already establishing Wited chapter. So that is a remarkable success. and it happened just recently this year. I know everybody talks about how passionate I am with technical education. Driving the agenda of CAPA probably is because I'm the first female SG after 42 years. Well, I joined when the institution was 40 years old. So after 40 years of existence, then I was appointed as the first Secretary General. I became very passionate as to what CAPA has done, over the years. And I saw a brainchild of CAPA, which is the Wited, that was really dormant, in the agenda. And I picked it up and I started running with it. But thanks to Nigeria for the inspiration. We are into transformation, and that is the current status now. After 40 years of existence, there was need to expand CAPA, because CAPA meant Commonwealth Association of Polytechnics in Africa. And then over the years, then it was reviewed. And so that the good component of the TVET sector, that is the technical universities, were left out. And therefore the name was changed and then incorporating technical universities. So it became Commonwealth Association of Technical Universities and Polytechnics in Africa, retaining the acronym CAPA in the name. So recently, there was need, and then the executive board met and saw the need really to revamp and then rebrand the organization so that it can actually encompass all the institutions in Africa, all the countries in Africa that have been left out. And mainly because in most cases, it's like, I'm not a Commonwealth country, and therefore I cannot be a part of your institution. So we saw the need to really make it all encompassing and make it a continental organization, and therefore the need for rebranding. So during the CAPA International Conference last year in Kigali, it was approved, and it took the whole process all the way to the highest level of the echelon of the structure, the whole structure of CAPA, which is the General Assembly, and they endorsed the rebranding. So the name ATUPA was then adopted, and that is Association of Technical Universities and Polytechnics in Africa. So the rebranding process is on. We are following the legal instruments because we have this protocol, the diplomatic protocol with the government of Kenya. And therefore we need to go through the legal, setting in change of name from CAPA to ATUPA. So the process is on, and we hope by the end of the year, we would be able to complete the process and move on. The sudden demise of former Secretary General, my predecessor, an illustrious son of your great patron, Dr. Olubunmi Owusu. May his soul rest in peace. The disruption caused by COVID-19 had caused some delays in the implementation of CAPA's 2020 activities. The current membership of CAPA is 200 institutions, and these are post-secondary institutions of technical universities, of polytechnics, of colleges, and of technical training institutions. Around 19 countries in Africa. The reason why the expansion, the reason why the rebranding to another level, a higher level of ATUPA is very justified. This would help with the membership growth, and then to actually bring in the African countries that have been left out throughout the existence of CAPA, mostly the French-speaking countries and also the Maghreb. That is the Arab-speaking countries. The Lusophone would actually come in. We are doing a gradual process. The map that I'm projecting now, as you can see, gives the demography of the membership of CAPA, and it's heavily tilted towards the southern and eastern part of Africa. That's where we have most of our membership. And then you have few on the left, that is the western part of Africa. And you can see in the north of Africa, it's non-existent. CAPA is non-existent there. So again, a good justification for us to migrate and move on to another level. History of Wited was the next topic. And it says Women in Technical Education and Development is a pioneer project of CAPA that was founded in 1988, 10 years after the establishment of CAPA. It has a main objective to assess factors of what was perceived as low women enrollment in technical education, training, and employment. That was the main objective. And during the course of the establishment of Wited, factors were identified that led to low participation of women, especially at the planning, management, and implementation levels of technical education and training. At all levels through the structure in member institutions that existed at the time. The member institutions were only 53 during that period. And at the time that we made the survey to find out what was going on, to be able to establish formally what was happening and get some findings, the number rose to 94. In the process of doing this, we had some collaborative partnership. And these were the two institutions. These were the two main development partners, the International Labour Organization and the Commonwealth of Learning. We continue to enjoy the close collaboration with the Commonwealth of Learning since the start, and this is clearly demonstrated with the presence in this meeting of Neil Terry. And Neil Terry, thank you very much for continuing what was started almost 32 years ago. The Wited project, like I said, were in two phases. One was the action research survey that was in the form of data collection between March and May 1989 with a sample of 20 CAPA institutions from 9 countries. 9 countries from Western, from Southern, and also from Eastern. 3 countries from Africa, 20 institutions, and mostly they were all colleges, polytechnics, and colleges at the time. At the end of phase 1, phase 2 was introduced, and this was actually practicalizing what were the findings of phase 1. And in practicalizing what was in phase 1, again, we had support from the International Labour Organization that organized some forums to train and develop Wited chapters that we now see in member countries. The findings of phase 1 basically were the results of the survey revealed that existing technical education favored men and not women at the time. The whole structure at the time was biased towards one end, and that was men and not women. We also realized from the survey that 75% of men that were enrolled in technical courses only, compared to only 25% of female students. So again, it was tilted more to our male counterparts. Phase 2 findings, 60% of the member institutions in Africa started Wited chapters. So when the Wited chapters was introduced in phase 1, well, the whole idea of Wited introduced in phase 1, moving to phase 2, we realized that yes, it was positive because now we have the majority of the member institutions starting Wited chapters. Some studies were carried out, not from CAPA, but from other authorities, including our host, Yabatech, that was one of the institutions that was actually surveyed. And the studies carried out, you can see, it's documented somehow, that there was a growth in the number of programs at the college, and that the number of female students also increased. Generally, we have achievements, a lot of achievements, but mostly the establishment of the local chapters from the different institutions, polytechnics and colleges were recorded. There were efforts to give women greater access to education and training in many countries in Africa, and this has resulted to increase in enrollment. The traditional barriers that have discriminated against women are declining. the last time I saw on Al Jazeera a documentary that was being shown where you have a female mechanic in her enterprise with, a lot of female participants. And then this particular enterprise is being expanded around Nigeria. So that is very heartwarming. And these are things that are unheard of, where you will have this space created for women to participate in such ventures. These ventures that have been termed as male dominant, all these years. Policies and strategies at the international and national levels have made a difference. We have seen how international policies have been introduced, the CEDAW. We have seen the local institution, in our own countries where we have the Women Acts being introduced and institutionalized by governments. Our policies and strategies that had helped over the years to actually address the issue of narrowing the gap between the two. Of course, there are challenges. The lack of funding had impacted greatly on the implementation of phase 2. The reason why it has not expanded probably was because of lack of funding. There is still more male students in technical education and training, no doubt about that. And that was a main challenge many years ago. It is still a challenge. Even with greater access to education and training in many countries in Africa, women have not increased their numbers in the workforce. That is also another challenge. And even if they find themselves in the workforce, women are still not equitably represented at the top ranks. The SDGs and Wited, really, if you look at all the 17 SDGs, they have some correlations with what we do, the gap, the relations, basically, between men and women. But specifically on SDG 4, we talks about quality education. SDG 5 talks about gender equality. And these are some of the ideals that we are engaging ourselves as heads of institutions, as TVET practitioners, to narrow the gap between the two genders. So I would say that what we need to do in order to make our graduates employable is to ensure that quality education is enhanced, that there are strategies in place put up by our various institutions to close the gap or to narrow the gap between the two, to ensure that there is gender equality. At the same time, gender equity, because many a times we have seen girls being given the privilege to have access to education at no cost. And in some instances, the boys felt that they were disadvantaged. So the issue of equity comes in as much as we are considering the equality bit. The fourth one is on the SDG 8, which is about decent work and economic growth. Again, in most cases, we have the women that are dominating this sector, the domestic workers and those that are employed in the informal economy, usually are less paid, and that makes it challenging for their livelihoods. SDG 10 is reduced inequalities, mostly the disabilities. We know that, yes, disability is cross-cutting for both gender, but then we see that with women, they are always having multiple forms of discrimination. So we need to look back in our own TVET institutions too and see how this can be mitigated. We know that there are instances where you go to institutions and for disabilities is a no-go area because the infrastructure is not even in place. In summary, the Wited's main focus to narrow the economic and social disparities, particularly in education, training, and employment, are demonstrated in almost all the SDGs, not only the ones I highlighted. Then the COVID-19 pandemic did not do any good. The disruptions of the pandemic exacerbates the fault lines of inequality that has already settled with girls and women. So it didn't make matters any better. Set of recommendations: need for more support for proportionate representation, that is across the board, at all structures, from government to the legislature, to the societal level, to the universities, institutions. We need to make sure that there's some form of proportionate representation where you will see women participating. Commensurate opportunities and support in mentoring, promoting, and growth in the workplace to that offered to men. Yes, you find yourselves in paid employment, but then there are other challenges faced by women. And these are some of them when it comes to mentoring, promotion, and even the growth in workplace. There are challenges faced by us. The need for effective policies and strategies at the international and national levels. Yes, there are policies, there are strategies, but how effective are they? We realize that with the pandemic, technical, especially with TVET institutions, I know all educational institutions were affected, but then more hit by the TVET institutions, where we realized that some institutions never had even a strategy for remote and online learning. And for continuity of education and training, they were hit hard. And some institutions suffered. Several months they could not move on. And what happened? You realize that there were a lot of disadvantages attached to women. A lot of girls could not go back to education and training simply because they got pregnant. Some of them were married off. So the disadvantages, again, was more to women. The other advantage was the need to assess the attainment of objectives WITED phase 2. We just need to continue. I know my predecessor started some work a year or so before he retired. Unfortunately, it did not complete. And again, I have taken the responsibility to ensure that that is done. And a proposal is currently being developed at the Secretariat for funding. Sensitization and advocacy of technical education and career should be continuous and vibrant. Yes, it is on, and that is why we are able to record some marked, positive improvement. But then it is supposed to be a continuous activity. We need to mainstream gender perspectives in TVET, whether it is the formal, but more so in the informal and non-formal education activities. We need to engage girls and young women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics disciplines at primary and secondary education, as well as at tertiary. It is important that we catch them young, not to wait until we wait until at the exit point before we start to sensitize. We need to start, institutionalizing this from even early childhood development. In summary, empowering women and girls is economic growth and development. Conclusion, it is my pleasure to make my concluding remarks on the presentation just done. And that is to say, looking at what is happening, looking at the terrain of what is happening with the SDGs, with WITED, especially in technical education and training, we are humbled to say that WITED is a precursor to the 2030 agenda for sustainable development, which really had put great emphasis on gender equality and women empowerment at a time when WITED has been a flagship for the drive since 1988. This shows that we are on the right track, as exemplified by our steadfastness and resolve to make an impact on TVET and gender parity. We applaud the initiative of our host, Yabatech, for the strides taken to rejuvenate the discussion on WITED, as we look forward to more partners and stakeholders in our common endeavor to move forward the agenda of sustainability development as enshrined in the SDGs. I thank you for your kind attention. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Okay.
Thank you for your attention. Yes. Thank you for your attention. That was Mrs. Jahu Fal, the Kappa SG, who has just given us a speech. We would like to make a formal announcement to let everyone know, especially our dignitaries, that it has become necessary to while the virtual presentations are being made. You're welcome. You're welcome. We'll go into the speech of Mr. Neil, after which we'll commence with the goodwill messages. Please bear with us. Thank you. Mr. Neil is the education consultant of the Commonwealth of Learning in Canada. Thank you.
Good morning. Warm greetings from the Commonwealth of Learning. I'm disappointed not to be able to join you in person, but the time difference has made it impossible. As you listen to this, it's 2:30 in the morning in Vancouver and I'm tucked up in bed, but I am with you in spirit and I wish you all the best for your conference as you discuss this very important topic of increasing access for women in TVET. I am pleased to talk to you today about challenges in achieving and progress towards equal access to TVET for women. I lead the technical and vocational skills development work at the Commonwealth of Learning. COLE is an intergovernmental organisation created by Commonwealth Heads of Government in 1987. We work across 43 Commonwealth countries, representing approximately 1/3 of the world's population. We promote the development and sharing of open learning and distance education knowledge, resources, and technologies for sustainable livelihoods. As you probably know, there are 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Today, I will focus on the 4th one, quality education. And within Sustainable Development Goal 4, I am going to zero in on target 4.3, equal access to affordable technical, vocational, and higher education, with an emphasis on technical and vocational education and training, or TVET, which is my passion, for reasons that I trust will soon become apparent. My hope today is that I will both inform and inspire you. I want to inform you about the gender inequity within access to TVET and inspire you to act, or act even more, to change it. Most of what I'm informing you about comes from these two publications, one from UNESCO Univoc and one from the International Labour Organization, both published this year. I've given the links so you can look at them later if you wish. Globally, we have seen some success in equal participation in education between genders, including TVET. Here you see that across different regions of the world, male and female participation is comparable. However, you can see that it is not equal between regions. For both genders, the rate is significantly lower in Africa relative to developed countries. Yes, the rate for girls and women is slightly lower in some regions, including yours, but it is not here that the significant inequity exists. The much greater difference is in what males and females choose to study, shown here by global average. Males dominate in engineering, manufacturing, construction, and ICT, which you can see over on the right-hand side with the high pink bar. Females dominate in education, health, and welfare, and social sciences. Those women who choose science, such as myself, who studied biochemistry many years ago, are more likely to choose natural sciences or mathematics. However, the story does not stop there. Studying vocational courses is not enough. The aim in studying is to move into the workforce and find decent work. Women are less likely than men to gain employment in the area in which they studied, particularly if they study STEM-related TVET, such as we saw in the last slide, for male-dominated areas. Of girls who study STEM TVET subjects in school, only 10% continue to the next level of study, compared to 60% of boys. Of those who choose to study STEM TVET after school, by 25 years old, 20% of that small number of females, as compared to 40% of the large number of males, are working in careers related to their study. Reasons for this difference include bias by employers, difficulty gaining experience, no jobs where they live, combined with an unwillingness or inability to travel, and no money to set up a workshop. And this inequity has been exacerbated by COVID. Gains that had been made in female participation in both the labour market and TVET have been set back for the 4 reasons outlined here, which link back to the different TVET choices women make, stereotypic views of women's roles at the workplace as well as in the home, and broader discrimination. Does this matter? Do we need women involved in jobs that men traditionally do? I would say a resounding yes. It matters at both the country and individual level. It matters at the country level. As we move into the 4th industrial revolution and the Internet of Things and increasingly rely on technology, countries, including Nigeria, need more STEM TVET graduates in engineering, construction, and ICT to be internationally competitive. They can't afford to only be recruiting from half the population. Also, the complex problems we need to solve to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals require innovative solutions. And as a world, we are learning that innovation is easier and better when we bring together diverse teams. And including both genders is one way of achieving this diversity. And it also matters at the individual level. Right now, females are missing out on the more lucrative careers. The European Union estimates that on average, men earn 20% more because of these differences. I don't know what the difference would be in Nigeria, but I imagine it's similar. The difference in careers is a big factor in why women earn less than men across the globe, which leads to an inequitable society. On top of this, STEM TVET careers are predicted to grow at 4 times the rate of other jobs because of the importance I mentioned at the country level. This means that it will become harder than it already is for women to have decent work if they do not move into these types of roles. What is driving these differences? This framework outlines factors influencing female participation or lower female participation in STEM TVET, which is where the majority of the high status, high income, high demand jobs sit. These factors are across 3 levels: personal, institutional, and societal. At the personal level, there is no evidence that biological differences mean that women cannot do STEM TVET jobs as well as men can. However, there are significant differences in psychological factors linked to how girls and their families perceive themselves and perceive the suitability of certain jobs for women. Examples of interventions seeking to address these factors are giving girls, and sometimes their mothers, the chance to play and compete using technology in a female-only environment, and seeking to raise parents' awareness of the suitability of and opportunities within male-dominated careers for their daughters. Institutional factors influencing lower female participation are similar across educational institutions and workplaces. Bias from those with influence across the recruitment, study, and employment pathway. Lack of female examples and support, inflexible training courses, and study and work environments that are physically unfriendly for females. Examples of interventions being trialled to overcome these factors include training and sensitization to help teachers understand and change their bias, girls-only environments for STEM TVET subjects, and TVET institutions using women-friendly criteria to select which institutions they will partner with, or which industries they will partner with. Societal factors include deeply embedded norms regarding roles of men and women, and governments not recognizing the importance of leading efforts to change these perceptions at the national level. Some countries are running national campaigns to try to change societal views and developing national strategies to try to increase female participation in STEM-related TV. And closer to home, Cole and Kappa have just agreed to work together on an intervention of our own, which will involve you. We want to build on the great work that Wited chapters such as yours are doing and co-design and develop an online learning experience to build the capability of existing chapters to continually improve what they are doing and to help institutions set up new chapters. So in conclusion, across the world, including Africa, we are making good progress in women's participation in TVET. Our focus needs to be on increasing involvement in STEM-related TVET and better supporting them into those workplaces. Our job has got harder since COVID, but there are encouraging examples that I hope you feel inspired to imitate. And Cole and Kappa are joining hands to support you to do this, so that together we can all help achieve the 3rd target of the 4th Sustainable Development Goal and see equal access for women across the different types of TVET, so that women become as well off as men and countries like yours become as well off as developed nations. Thank you again for inviting me to be a part of your conference, and I look forward to hearing how it goes and to being a part of your journey as Cole and Kappa collaborate with you.
That was a message from Ms. Terry Neal. Ms. Terry Neal is an education specialist with Commonwealth of Learning. Please, let's put our hands together. Okay. At this point, I would like to respectfully ask our distinguished dignitaries to come back to their space. Please, let's put our hands together for them as they come back to their seats. I also want to request the rector, Redeem College of Technology, to come and join them at the high table. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we go back to our normal program of event.
Stand on the existing protocol, but allow me to acknowledge everyone on the I table, especially my council sisters, and also to say that I'm very delighted, very glad to be here today. I am privileged to have graduated from Yaba College of Tech some 2.5 decades ago, about 25 years now. I'm very happy that after 2 decades, I am seeing the compound again. I was telling myself that this place is well maintained. Kudos to the great people that have kept this. And I'm very proud to be a graduate of Yabatech. Thank you. A goodwill message from Our Excellency, the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, who is unavoidably absent today, but has the program in mind. It gladdens my heart to be part of this Women in Technical Education and Employment Wited International Conference 2020, designed to advance the cause of women folk, especially those in technical education. Wited is a project conceptualized by the Commonwealth Association of Polytechnics in Africa in reaction to the observed exceedingly low participation of women in technical education in its member institutions. The association seeks
to improve women in technical education and employment seeks to improve the participation of the girl child in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics programs. This conference, organized by the Women in Technical Education and Employment, is in line with the vision of the organization, which is a coalition of 52 different women associations towards mitigating the challenges faced by women pursuing business and career growth. The theme of this conference, Gender and Sustainable Development Goals in Africa Challenges and Progress, is very germane, as we women are now in the front burner of our chosen professions or career. For me, the ideas of this body are not only highly beneficial, but also worth supporting in view of the fact that they are rightly focused on how to engender sustainable entrepreneurial development among women through the thematic areas including research, advocacy, policy reform initiatives, as well as follow-up on implementations and feedback. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the role of women in nation building cannot be relegated, aside the fact that women are the strong pillar in the home front. Women are also making serious impacts and leading the way in running businesses. It is on this premise that I commend the Association of Women in Technology, Education, and Employment, Nigerian Women Business Network, for their passion and commitment to protect the interests of women in this sector, especially towards ensuring their career growth. I appeal to members of this body to continue enhancing the participation of women in technology, education at all levels. On a final note, I thank you for your attention and wish you fruitful deliberations. Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sowolu, First Lady, Lagos State. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause for the mother of the day, wife of the governor of Lagos State, Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by an alumnus student, Mrs. Abosede Ogundimu. Thank you very much, ma'am. We'll call upon the wife of the deputy governor of Lagos State, Mrs. Oluremi Hamzat, who's being ably represented by Mrs. Kehinde Ajala, to give a goodwill message. Thank you. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I need to adjust this a bit. Good afternoon, everyone. Permit me to stand on the already well-established protocol. I'm here to represent the wife of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Her Excellency, Mrs. Oluremi Hamzat, who is unavoidably absent because of other equally state functions. She, however, sent a warm regard. Her speech goes thus: I'm highly delighted to be part of today's event of the international conference organized by the Women in Technical Education and Empowerment, WITED. I would like to first congratulate everyone here present for the divine grace of witnessing this year's conference amidst the challenges of this period. The theme, Gender and Sustainable Development Goals in African Challenges and Progress, is very relevant, most appropriate, and very welcoming at this time of the new normal. As we all know, the role of women in technical education and empowerment cannot be underestimated, especially in realizing the gender sustainable development goals. It is disheartening to know that perhaps because of the gender peculiarity, our society seems to have relegated the women to the background in the area of technical education and skills. The general but erroneous belief is that the field is exclusively for men. Our experience, however, have proved otherwise. Examples of women doing well in this area abound. We are all aware of lady mechanic called Sandra Aguebo. This lady is doing well to the extent that she has been training several other ladies who are doing well in their chosen career. These categories of women and many other technically skilled have contributed immeasurably in providing the prerequisite manpower skills, knowledge, enabling environment, and attitude that all the advancement of sustainable development goals. As many of us are aware, technical education contributes overwhelmingly to the overall educational and economic development of any nation. This explains why I continue to appreciate and applaud the women in technical education and empowerment for organizing this program. Your platform has given tremendous opportunity in producing more skilled manpower with strong practical background and requirement to meet the challenges of inadequate food supply, clean water, safe shelter, energy, and many other challenges faced by various developing nations like ours. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to say that the Lagos State government, through the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, WAPA, and other government agencies have been making conscious efforts to train more girl child and youths in technical skills and empowerment program. I join your organization to continue in complementing these efforts in order to empower more women for sustainable economic growth and development. Once again, I commend your organization for organizing this laudable international conference for the overall growth and progress of the girl child and our youths. As you celebrate this year, I wish you the best and a successful conference. Thank you for your kind attention. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, àjùmọ̀ṣe wa ni.
Thank you. The college is so blessed that we have the First Lady of Lagos State and the Second Lady of Lagos State representing Lagos State in this very space. That's not all. The Secretary to the Lagos State government will also come out and give our own goodwill message. Mrs. Sherifat Folashade is the Secretary to the State government and is represented here by Mrs. Kemi Durosumi Eti, who is a permanent secretary in the Cabinet Office. Judge, okay. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, àjùmọ̀ṣe gbogbo wa ni.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mrs. Folashade Sherifat Jaji, who is unavoidably absent. On this note, I would like to recognize the presence of the First Lady of Lagos State, Her Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by Mrs. Abosede Ogundimu. Also, Her Excellency, the wife of the Deputy Governor, Dr. Oluremi Hamzat, Mrs. Oluremi Hamzat, ably represented by Kainde Ajala, Mrs. Kainde Ajala. The Rector, Yaba College of Technology, represented by the Deputy Rector, Admin, Mrs. Titilayo Ukubam. Ukubam, sorry, I'm sorry about that. Rectors from other institutions here present, National Coordinator, Wited executives and organizing committees, and my dear own sister, the lead presenter, Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello. I'm sorry. Esteemed lecturers, Yaba College of Technology, and from other institutions, other invited guests, distinguished participants, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. The goodwill to the state government, Mrs. Folashade Jaji, reads as follows. I am pleased and proud to deliver a goodwill message at the hybrid conference of Wited, holding in the Center of Excellence. I am excited with the theme of the conference, Gender and Sustainable Development Goals in Africa, Challenges, Progress, which focus on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, 5 of the 17. Goal 5, there is no doubt that it will be a 3-day brainstorming with representation by the Secretary General, Commonwealth Association of Technical Universities and Polytechnic in Africa, CAPA, Mrs. Joa Val, and our director, Directorate of Advancement, Lagos State University, Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello, among other distinguished personalities. Let me use this opportunity to inform the esteemed guests and participants that the Lagos State government, our government, has been breaking major barriers, thereby allowing women and young girls to fulfill their aspirations, including those living with disabilities. In order to ensure equal opportunities in leadership at different levels, and in consonance with the year 2019 International Women's Day theme, Balance for Better, Mr. Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, in constituting his Executive Council, appointed 12 women as Honorable Commissioner and Special Advisors. We also have 22 women as permanent secretaries, apart from those that are heading different agencies and departments of government. You will agree with me that in Lagos State, we are gender sensitive. I felicitate with the President and the Organizing Committee of the Women in Technical Education and Empowerment for organizing the conference, which for me will set the stage for the participants to share experiences and exchange views that will generate new ideas and strategies to address gender inequality in our society, especially in technical education. Wishing you fruitful deliberations at this maiden conference, and I am optimistic that the resolutions that would proceed from the program will help in addressing many obstacles women face in Africa and other nations in the world, knowing that the population of women is more, and we are still
underrepresented. Thank you for your attention. Signed, Shade Jadi, Secretary to the Lagos State Government.
Please let the applause be louder. That was a representative of the Secretary to the State Government here in Lagos State. Thank you very much, Ma. While we are waiting, we'll have the presentation to be made by two of our students. One will give one in pure Yoruba, while the other one does the other in English language.
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story or a collection of true facts. Get into the lorry. I hope this impacts. There is a verse to seen as weaker or lesser, forgetting her being a leader or an advisor. She's said to be for a lot like reproduction or even seduction, but they forget that she gives life. Not in the real sense, but yeah, she's not just a wife. I stand from afar and watch how she's treated, like on her nature cheated for making her her. Like it's her fault for being who she is. But then she goes through 9 months of pains, not for gains. But to see that people smile even when it doesn't rain in the desert. Yes, she's a woman, but she's not just a woman. She's a voice that has been silenced for too long, and now she's here in her full glory, ready to fight for that which she believes. Watch her stand in the forefront of the battle for peace. Watch her fight for the cause for which she believes. Yes, she's a woman, but she's not just a woman. She's one that has broken gender barriers. She's the one that has gone places and succeeded in building the nation. Yes, she's a woman, but she's not just a woman. She's a wife, a sister, a mother, a queen. She is you.
Àṣàbí àdé tuntun dé o, mo tuntun dé bí mo ṣe ń dé o, mo dé kọ́lọ́kọ́ má lè roko, mo dé kọ́lọ́nà má lè rọ̀nà. Àṣàbí àdé ti dé, n ó fohùn ẹnu mi, ìgbé kíké kú ní iṣẹ́ iye, mo ṣe bá àdániwọ̀ iye o, ìbà àkọ́dá iye, ìbà ṣẹ̀dá ọ̀hún, ọba lágbára ọba dúró tì ní lọ́jọ́ ogun lè ṣùgbọ́n kí n tó lè tẹ̀síwájú ṣùgbọ́n kí n tó lè tẹ̀síwájú mo kọ́ nílé mo ká lejò mo kọ́ ọmọdé mo ká gbà lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin mo kí yín níkàlẹ̀ pátápátá. Ọ̀rọ̀ mi dá lórí obìnrin. Obìnrin jẹ́ ẹ̀yà kan tó ṣe pàtàkì jù nílé ayé. Àwọn lẹ́ni ìkejì ọkùnrin. Àwọn níyọ̀ ayé. Láìsí obìnrin, n ò lérò pé ilé ayé lè dùn bí oyin. Mo kí ìyá mi àtàtà o, ìyá ìbíjọ kẹsàn-án olúmọ ni mo ń ké sí. Pọ́fẹ́sọ̀ Ìbíyẹmí Ọlátúnjí Bello, ìyáàfin Olúrẹ̀mí Hamzat àti Fọláṣadé Ṣẹ̀rífát, akíkanjú obìnrin, obìnrin bí ọkùnrin, akíkanjú obìnrin, àrẹwà tí ń dá gbogbo ẹkùn lọ́rùn, àṣìṣe takùntakùn ọ̀dọ́mọbìnrin, ó dára bí egbin, ó dára bí egbin ni mo wí o. Ó dára bí egbin, kò gbàgbà kúgbà rárá, ṣùgbọ́n onítẹríba, adúró kọ̀ọ̀kan lọ́jọ́ ìpọ́njú. Obìnrin bí ọkùnrin ni, ó dá yàtọ̀ láwùjọ àwọn ìyá. Ó dá yàtọ̀ láwùjọ àwọn ìyá. Èéfín ni wọ́n ò ṣe fọwọ́ bò mọ́lẹ̀. Wọ́n kìlù mọ́ obìnrin bí ọkùnrin, ọ̀pọ̀ ṣàní bẹ́ẹ̀ lókè
ìpẹ́ òrìṣà bí ìyá ẹ̀mí ò sí láyé ìyá aláàbà ọmọ ìyá lèjì ká ẹni tí ò jẹ́ káṣọ ọbọ̀ lára ọmọ ẹni mo ní ooo kẹ́ ẹ pẹ́ láyé bí mo pẹ́ ṣe ń pẹ́ láyé àdàgbà ohun ní tòṣe ẹ dàgbà ẹjọ gbó ikú òjijì nípa yín ẹ ò ní lóhùn dé sọnù bí ó ṣe bí ọmọ ikú tẹ́ bá kú ọ̀tá yín àgbà kú àrùn tẹ́ bá ọ̀tá yín àgbà ikú àdìkú ọ̀tá àwọn àdàwọ̀ bí ẹ tẹ̀jẹ̀ pé ẹ lálùyọ wọn ò ní ìtẹ̀gbà àti yín ló ń jẹjẹ lọ́la ṣe ìdùnnà rẹ̀ àṣẹ.
Please let's put our hands together for her. Nigeria is such a blessed country. Our culture is so rich. You don't even have to understand Yoruba to enjoy the readings. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is Wited First International Hybrid Conference. Let me quickly remind our special guests. Around this time last week, there was an epoch-making event. Yabatech unveiled what can be arguably referred to as the biggest museum any tertiary institution. I want to please implore the Wited executive to ensure that they take our guests around that edifice.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. I can't hear the sound too clearly on my end, but I'd like to start by saying a good morning and greetings to everyone. All protocols duly observed. As we all know, this has been a year like no other, and I hope you and your families are all well and safe. I didn't hear the introduction at first, so I'm going to reintroduce myself. My name is Judith Odugbeson Akinsho, and it is a distinct privilege and an honor for me to be able to share a goodwill message on behalf of the family of the late Chief Mrs. Felicia Bimbola Odugbeson, one of the founding facilitators of Wited and the first female rector of Yaba College of Technology. I remember myself attending many of these type of conferences with my mom, and she would take us everywhere with her. So this brings back lots of memories for me. The conceptualization of Wited many decades ago was a simple one, that the girl child and ultimately women would have no barriers to their pursuits of excellence, and in demonstrating their innate leadership abilities, particularly across the STEM programs, in the academia, in the non-academia, and in their entrepreneurial endeavors. Over time, that idea of Wited has become a Pan-African movement that within each chapter inspires thought leadership, collaborative advocacy, impactful projects, and great strides towards achieving Wited's long-term objectives. This year's International Hybrid Conference, I'm sure without exaggeration, is a unique, long-awaited event, and the list of participants and speakers is quite impressive. By joining the conference and engaging across an outstanding mix of sessions, discussing relevant topics and aligning on future strategies for sustainable development in Africa. You're helping to power the thriving community that is Wited. In the style of my late mother, not only must we be visionary thinkers, we must also be doers who execute with precision and compassion. On behalf of my father, Otumba Anthony Olusegun Dugbeson, my siblings and our families, I express our sincere gratitude for the invitation to attend this conference and the continued recognition that is accorded to our late matriarch. I congratulate Wited and the planning committee for the high level of organization and professionalism, which has made it possible to gather so many different distinguished experts globally and to develop all of the conference activities to take place over the coming days. May I take this opportunity once again to convey my very best wishes for an engaging, successful, and productive conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was a good message from the family of late Chief Mrs. F.A. Odubeson. Chief Odubeson was a two-time rector of this college, and for 8 solid years, she ruled over the space of this very institution. Her landmark is everywhere. Still on goodwill message, we take the last one from Professor Smile Zizi. Professor Smile Zizi is the coordinator. Okay, we are not taking that. So this is an academic conference. So we take the best for the last. I would like to respectfully request our lead paper presenter, Professor Olabisi Ibiyemi Bello, Olabisi Ibilola Olatunji Bello, to kindly stand up while I call on the Secretary of Wited Yabatech College of Technology, Mrs. Braid, to read her citation.
Thank you. I read the citation of Professor Ibiyemi Ibilola Olatunji Bello, MNI, Fellow, Physiological Association in the UK, Physiological Association of Nigeria, Fellow, Society of Environmental Toxicologists. Professor Ibiyemi Ibilola Olatunji Bello was born in Lagos on the 23rd of April, 1964, to Mrs. Jadisola Ibidapo, Nee Abraham of Itakose, Lagos Island, and Mr. Emiola Ibidapo Okunriboye of Owo, Ondo State. She attended Anglican Girls Primary School, Surulere, from 1970 to 74, and then Lagos Anglican Girls Grammar School, Surulere, between 1974 and 1979. Professor Olatunji Bello then proceeded to Methodist Girls High School, Yaba, and later to Lagos State College of Science and Technology, Ikosi campus, where she did her A-levels in 1982. Prestigious University of Ibadan, where she bagged a BSc honorable in physiology in the year 1985. After her NYC at the University of Lagos, she was awarded MSc Physiology in 1987 at the University of Lagos. She attended a 6-month research training at the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio in the United States in 1994, after which she bagged a PhD in physiology of the University of Lagos in 1998. She obtained a postgraduate diploma in theology from the Bible College of the Redeemed Christian Church of God in the year 2001, and a postgraduate diploma in education of the Lagos State University in the year 2018. In 2012, Professor Olatunji Bello attended the course 34 of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, the highest policy advisory body of the federal government, as a nominee of the National Universities Commission, where she was awarded the certificate as a member of the National Institute, the MNI. She was awarded a fellowship of the Physiological Society of UK in the year 2017, which was shortly followed by the Fellowship Award of the Physiological Society of Nigeria. She was appointed a Fellow of the Society of Environmental Toxicology and Pollution Mitigation in the year 2019. An astute academic, Professor Olatunji Bello rose through the ranks from Assistant Lecturer 1988 to 1991, Lecturer 2 between 1991 and 96, Lecturer 1 from 1986 to 99, Senior Lecturer from 99 to 2005, Associate Professor between 2005 and October 2007, all in the College of Medicine of the University of Lagos, Idi-Araba. She assumed duty as the first professor of physiology in Lagos State University College of Medicine on the 2nd of October 2007. Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello has held several professional and administrative positions, both at UNILAG and LASU. Until her election as the first female deputy vice chancellor of LASU, she was the first substantive head of the Department of Physiology, LASUCOM. Other university managerial positions held by Professor Olatunji Bello include Acting Vice Chancellor, July to December 2010, and also January 30 to October 31st, 2011, Deputy Vice Chancellor, December 2008 to December 2010, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics, LASU, November 2011 to January 2013, the head Department of Physiology, LASUCOM, October 2007 to December 2018. She is currently the pioneering director of LASU Directorate of Advancement, which was established by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Larry Fago, in the year 2016. She is a member of many professional bodies, and she was the first female second Vice President, Physiological Society of Nigeria, and the first Vice President to hold that position up to the year 2019. Professor Olatunji Bello was government representative on the Lagos State University Governing Council 2004 to October 2008, and she is currently a Senate representative of the Governing Council of Lagos State University. Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello has graduated 4 PhDs and 37 MSc candidates, while still supervising more PhD students. This distinguished scientist is known for her very brilliant academic work, and she has well over 53 publications to her credit, excluding papers that she has read at both local and international conferences. She has served as chairman organizing committee of an international conference of the International Union of Physiological Sciences and Association of African Physiological Societies in 2016. She has also contributed chapters in some textbooks and learning materials. Professor Olatunji Bello is happily married to Mr. Tunji Bello, a journalist and lawyer, and the current Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources. He is also the former secretary to the Lagos State government. They are blessed with 3 children. Professor Olatunji Bello is not just in the academics, she is also a pastor and the area pastor in charge of the Testimony Chapel, an area under Lagos Province 1 of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. I present to you Professor Ibiyemi Ibilola Olatunji Bello. Wow. When I was doing all those things, I didn't know I would receive so much accolades. I thought I was just doing what I wanted to do. And that's a challenge for every woman here. Do what you want to do. No matter what the hurdles are, just make sure you climb over the hurdles. Because at the end, you are adding so many accolades to your name. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by my darling sister, Mrs. Ogundimu. Let me tell you one thing. Her Excellency actually wanted to be here. Yesterday, she called to say she'll be here in person. But when I woke up this morning, I saw that she has texted me at 6:34 that maybe she has overworked and she's having, she's a little bit under the weather. So she sincerely wanted to be here. And thank you, Mrs. Ogundimu, for, I'm sure they just called you this morning, for filling the gap. God bless you. Your Excellency, the wife of the Deputy Governor, Mrs. Oluremi Hamzat, ably represented by my darling sister, Okoniwa Kausu Okoniwa, Mrs. Kehinde Ajala. She's the wife of the chairman of the Odiolowo local government. Moshi. Okay. All my darling sisters here, I will not forget my very good sister, Mola sister. And she's director of our Redeemed College of Education and Technology and Management. My able-witted president, right? God bless you, ma. And the representative of the rector, God bless you. And all our mothers, thank you, ma, for the recognition. I want to appreciate the entire members of Wited for giving me this opportunity. As you all know, I'm a physiologist. I'm not a human rights activist. So when I got this topic, I said, okay. One thing they taught us at Kuru is you can do anything for a better society. So we are told that in any area, they can call you in. And then you just have to do it, no excuse. So I thank you, my darling sister, Dr. Kukwala, who is the president or coordinator of Wited Yabatech. And the LOC, every one of you, thank you for inviting me. The outline of my discussion this afternoon, I'll just give to you. I'll give a brief introduction, define some items. Then
we have been told that there are 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. I will list them. Then we have the special one that I focused on this morning, the SDG 5, Goal 5 on gender equality. We have go to the challenges and then progress made, and I'll give my conclusion. So for introduction, Sustainable Development Goals are based on the principle of leaving no one behind by the end of the year 2030. The 17 SDGs were from the 2030 adopted Agenda for Sustainable Development by the General Assembly of the United Nations in September 2015. The phrase, leave no one behind, implies that the vulnerable groups in the society and people with disabilities are included for their development and better livelihood. The topic is gender and SDGs, challenges and progress made. We want to define gender. It is defined as the range of characteristics pertaining to and differentiating between masculinity and femininity, boys stroke men, and girls stroke women. Gender is also defined by the World Health Organization as the result of socially constructed ideas about the behavior, actions, and roles a particular sex performs. I will explain this. This is in terms of sociology. In some society, boys are not allowed to enter the kitchen. So the gender discrimination is already, you are starting from home. Because it's a socially constructed idea that boys and men should not be in the kitchen. They shouldn't cook. What do? And with all our children that are abroad. So the wife, after giving birth, she will be doing all the cooking, taking care of the baby, doing night. No, it's not done. There must be equal distribution of duties. So that's the definition of gender. Some of us have believed that the actions and roles are for a particular sex. The other sex is supposed to do nothing or should be at the background. In some areas of our society, women are not supposed to be where their husbands are. Even when they are doing weddings, women are segregated from the men. Social discrimination against women. What are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals as enumerated by the UN? Goal number 1 is no to poverty by the year 2030. All over the world, poverty would have been eradicated. Somebody say amen.
Number 2, goal number 2, by the end of year 2030, there will be zero hunger in the world. Amen. Goal number 3, because we all hear these SDGs. We don't really know the goals. Goal number 3, good health and well-being for everyone, male, female, child, old, everyone in the world should be in good health and be well in all ramifications. Goal number 4, quality education by the year 2030. And goal number 5, which I am going to talk about, is gender equality. SDG 5. Goal number 6, by the year 2030, how many years from now? There will be clean water and sanitation all over the world. Goal 7, affordable and clean energy. Goal number 8, decent work and economic growth for every nation, every society, everyone by the year 2030. And goal 9 is about industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Goal number 10, there will be reduced inequality in all ramifications. No more discrimination. No more discrimination against disabilities, against gender, against anything. There will be reduced inequality. And 11, sustainable cities and communities. 12, responsible consumption and production. So we don't consume irresponsibly. And we make sure that as we consume, we produce. Climate action. Because of the climate change, all nations should be well aware of the climate change and take action by year 2030. The SDG is about everything. So life below water also will be improved. Life on land, number 15. Number 16, peace and justice, strong institutions. And the final one, goal 17, partnerships to achieve the goal. So, as I said, my discussion is focused on SDG 5, gender equality. Before we can attain gender equality, let us know what gender inequality means. It's the social process in which women and men are not treated as equals. A social process, whether in the office, whether at home, wherever you are, when women are being discriminated against, when women are given the lower bench, while the other gender takes the higher one. gender inequality. There are several causes of these biased differences. These may include biology, biological norms, psychological norms, or cultural norms. I think I've talked about cultural norms. Psychological norms, because people will drum it into your head that you are a woman. You are a woman, what are you doing with PhD? They want to, the psychological norm. The mother will tell her son, don't come to the kitchen, or your sister will be the one that will go to the kitchen. And they have already put it in the mind of that boy. When he grows old, he never enters the kitchen to help his wife. Of course, biological norms. Just because you're a woman, because they don't want you to get pregnant and stay at home for 6 months. Oh, we could go on and on. Gender differentiations by norms or stereotypic behaviors reinforce gender identities and constrain the behavior of women and men in the ways that they lead, and that in the way that lead to inequality. Because some of us will just accept it, while some will fight that no, this cannot be. Gender is a primary marker of social and economic stratification, and as a result of exclusion. Because when you are stratified, you are separated. When they are considering, they only think of the women when they need numbers. But when they are sharing, when they are sharing goodies, you will never find them there. That's when they say, no, we are doing men talk. This is not for women. Women should not be involved. What do you know? So SDG 5 therefore aims to achieve gender equality by ending all forms of discrimination, violence, and any harmful practices against women and girls in the public and private spheres. It also calls for the full participation of women and equal opportunities for leadership at all levels of political and economic decision-making. Women, do I have women here? Are you ready to take your seat at the table? You must take your seat at the table. No matter what, be determined that that seat in the boardroom, if there are going to be 20 members in that board, there should be 10 women. That is gender parity. But some of our organizations, when they set up committees, they put all men. And some of us will be looking. You have to talk, voice it out. There must be gender balance. In any committee that is formed in the university, in all our institutions, if there's no woman, that committee is invalid. the committee is invalid, and all of us here, if there is going to, the men put a glass ceiling over us, what do? You must shatter it. Women and girls everywhere must have equal rights and opportunities. Let me correct something. I'm not saying lower the conditions for women. When you do that, you are belittling us. Don't lower condition for the woman. If I am to get to the next position, the same criteria that you are giving to the man, give it to me. So that gives you respect. They will not say, Chebi, we lowered it for her. After all, she's a woman. Okay, let her have it. No. So it means every one of us must work hard. When the men work 10 times, you must work 100 times to beat them. Women's equality and empowerment, though is one of the SDGs, it is also integral to all dimensions of inclusive and sustainable development. To put it better, all the SDGs depend on the achievement of Goal 5. Because if there is no gender equality, will there be development? If there's no gender equality, will there be an end to poverty? If there's no gender equality, will there be food available for everyone? No. Because they keep the women at the background. So this SDG 5 targets 1, an end to all forms of discrimination against all women and girls everywhere. It targets elimination of all forms of violence against women and girls in the public and private spheres, including trafficking, when they traffic women, including sexual abuse, sexual harassment in the offices, sexual abuse at homes, and even at school, including rape and other types of exploitation. Why should the other gender exploit women? The exploitation mostly is because women will keep quiet. From now on, what do we do? Speak out. Sorosoke. Importance of SDG 5. SDG 5 is a fundamental human right. The goal, gender equality, is our right. It's a fundamental right. It leads to the empowerment of women and girls, which is essential for economic growth. It will promote social development. It will enhance business performance. All companies, all organizations will have baseline responsibilities to respect human rights, including rights of women and girls. So if we can achieve this goal, we have achieved everything. What are the challenges of SDG 5? The most common one is sexual assault or harassment. And women will not talk out. Your boss in the office is harassing you because of your promotion, you keep quiet. Your supervisor is harassing you. It might even go to the extent of abusing you. And because of your promotion, of what you want to get, you keep quiet. Those are the challenges when we don't speak out. How do we achieve gender equality? Sex discrimination in employment. Some people, before they employ, they would have gazetted it. We have 20 positions. 15 are the men, 5 or even 4 or 2 or none for the women. Sexual discrimination, sex discrimination in employment. Then, even in the developed countries, you have occupational segregation. Even here too, we have occupational segregation. Some jobs are not just for men, are not just for women. Some people will tell you, this job is not for women, no, it's not for light-hearted people. This job is not for feeble women. And then we also accept that some jobs are for, some professions are for men. Then you have pay gap or unequal pay. Just because you are a woman, you have the same qualifications, you have the same number of years of experience, you have everything the other man has, and they employ both of you. The man will get a higher pay. That's what's happening in America, a very developed country. They still discriminate with pay, their salaries for women and men. Maybe in some organizations, but generally. Then there's gender inequality in elementary and middle schools. There's gender differences in degree choices. Some of us will just want, say they want to go into, men should not be nurses. Who said there are male nurses? There shouldn't be any discrimination when you want to think of whatever you want to do, architecture. Some females also climb mountains. Some females do geology. They're geologists. So don't let us discriminate against any degree. That this is for men, this one is for the female gender. Women are promoted less often than men. Hello? Am I talking? Women are promoted less often than men. Fear of asking to be paid what you are worth is also an, for me. Because you don't want to lose the opportunity. You know you are worth 300,000 naira as salary, and they are offering you 80,000 or 100,000. And they will ask you, what do you want to collect as salary? And we say, anything you have. Just give me. Discriminating against your own self. You don't know your worth. Don't sell yourself cheap. Nobody is cheap here. You are all highly educated. You get what you are worth. Don't go below what you are worth. So how should we reduce this gender inequality in our society? We should reduce socialization, i.e., parents and other adults of girl child or boy child into traditional roles. Reduce these things. Stop. If your son, tell your son, go and wash the plate while your daughter is picking the ewedu. They should be in the kitchen together. So when we begin to do that, oh yeah, they start cutting tomatoes and pepper. Chop it. You as a mother, me, I always do that. I would say, mother, like the back chop onions. Oh man, fine. You're encouraging him. I like the way you chop these onions. Right. So let all of us be in the kitchen. And because we won't discriminate when you are reading, we are going to study. We all, during prep time, we all prepare. You need to, during study time, we all go and study. So why should somebody be studying or watching TV with daddy? And the other one, mommy and the daughter, are sweating in the kitchen. We should reduce that kind of socialization. We should confront gender stereotyping by populists and news media. News media, they should also help in getting the messages across. You know that men of the fifth realm, what do you call them now? The journalists, press. Fourth, is it fourth or fifth? Fourth. So sorry about that. From the fourth estate of realm, right? Thank you. They should help us to bring out all the inequalities and expose them. For example, I Googled and I saw that we have only 11 female senators out of 109. Is that one gender equity? I'm not talking about quality now. Is it gender equity? Is there gender parity? 11. I will check my, yes, I'm right. I will soon get there. And the House of Rep, only 14 females out of 360. What you, what are you doing? Egbegbabu. We should increase public consciousness on the consequences of rape and sexual assault, sexual harassment, and pornography. When we increase, we do advocacies, all the organizations here. One advocacy or the other. Let's just increase public consciousness. Consequences of rape
and sexual assault. I know that the government of Lagos State, they are working very hard concerning this rape and violence against women. If anyone is convicted of rape, it's life imprisonment. And if you are a victim, and you keep quiet, if you are a victim of rape and you keep quiet, and government finds out, you are going 2 years imprisonment. So what is government saying? Sorosoke. Say it, let us know, so that they put all those people where they belong for life. Some other states, they even legislated castration. We should have legal framework for the gender equality. How many times has the bill been thrown out in the National Assembly? Uncountable times. But we will continue to press for it. We produce laws that protect rights of women. When the men are in the majority, how will that bill pass? Hello? 360 to even if the women are raising hand. So you see, we must produce laws that protect rights of women and also for domestic violence and rape. Progress so far, achieved so far. One thing is sure, the progress is extremely slow, very low. Some hard-won advances are being reversed by so much inequality. So many things that the NGOs have really achieved, but they are reversed because of the inequality at the National Assembly. They are reversed due to changes in the climate, with all the disasters that is going all around. They are being reversed by so much insecurity, conflict, and exclusionary politics. Women, it's only when they need us to vote that they will remember us. When it comes to sharing of the goodies, sharing of the positions, that's when nobody will pick your phone again. That is why we are slowing down. No country has achieved gender equality. Even the most developed countries of the world, they have not achieved gender equality. What most countries have is 1/4 of seats in the boardroom. 1/4 at most. Our own is not even up to 1/4. In the boardroom, anyone that has 1/4 in the boardroom has tried. But it's not. It should be equal, 50-50. Amen.
So less than 2/3 of women between ages 24 and 54, these are the productive ages, are in the labor force. When they are in the labor force, are we encouraging them? No. 1/3 of women have faced violence from their intimate partners, from their husbands, from their friends, their partners. And this is mostly fueled by cyber harassment. And you text messages and so on, you harass, some people harass their husband, some people harass their wives, and some people, women, why are you looking at your husband's phone? What you don't know will not pain you. Stop checking your husband's phones. And don't pick his call. Don't pick his phone for him. I want to answer his call. The person, let it go to missed call. He will call the person back. If you don't, only attitude back. Attitude back. Inú ò ní bàjẹ́. Why are you bringing? You want to unsettle yourself? Okay, in some local governments in our society, in our country, even in this country, Nigeria, girls are still prevented from going to school. Some girls, they just say, why do you want to go to school? Or you are going, maybe you will still end up in the kitchen. Men still control more than 3/4 of our Senate. I said that earlier. Men, they control our Senate, our National Assembly, even our state assemblies. In some states, maybe you can hardly find women at all. They are all men. Those assemblies will be rendered null and void very soon. So women in some parts of our country are largely excluded from peace processes. When they are making peace moves, they tell the woman, what do you know? Shut up. They're excluded from making peace moves, peace processes. But our Lagos State has enacted laws that is in support of the right of women, has enacted laws that will deal with all convicts, all rapists, and then anyone that is violent against his wife, anyone that batters his wife, is going to stay in the prison for how many years? Life. So in conclusion, my dear distinguished guests on the high table, and my beautiful women, we are very far from achieving these SDGs. All the 17 of them, we are far from it. And it's 2030 is round the corner. Legal frameworks must be speedily put in place for gender equality in all spheres of life. For example, at home, there must be a legal framework for there should be no gender discrimination at home. At workplaces, and even at places of worship. In some places, they say women should not be pastors.
Women should not give sermon. And in the other religion, women are not supposed to be heard. They even put them somewhere else. If there is a law, a legal framework, we pray that this will, it seems will be impossible, but we pray nothing, because the Bible says, for nothing shall be impossible for God. Thank you very much for listening.
We can do better. Prof lecture is a loaded one, very loaded. And my takes from it are many, but I'll just list 4. We must stop gender stereotyping. The right of a woman must be protected. And if you deny a woman her rights, you must sorosoke. But the one that interests me most is that as a woman, do not pick your husband's phone. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are gradually winding down. There will be a group photograph immediately after the vote of thanks. I want to invite Wited Yabatech Secretary, Mrs. Grace Braid, to give the vote of thanks. Okay, I have just been informed that before the vote of thanks, there will be presentation of gifts. So I want to invite the Wited coordinator, Dr. Pokola. Please come to the podium. Wited P, okay.
Yes, it's good to be back. After this little, after Prof's lecture, we am encouraged that we will get there. Yes, we want to appreciate mothers in the house that we called, we gave them even the invite, and they honored us by sending representatives. We are grateful to them. Even out of their busy schedule, they still had us in mind. So we want to give them a little token. We can't pay them for their time, neither can we pay them for the support they've given us thus far. But we want to appreciate them with this little token. We want to start with the First Lady, the mother of the day for this conference. We appreciate her, our mother, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu. We ably represented by Mrs. Bosede Ogundimu. Thank you, ma. I also want to invite our very own, she's part of us, but she's on loan to Rectem. And so, so she can still cross boundary and come back home. So we want to invite her to do the first presentation. Thank you, ma. Dr. Stella Mofunaya. It's good to have her back. Thank you. Yes.
Praise the Lord. On behalf of Wited Yabatech chapter, I hope you can see the beautiful gift. I'm presenting this to the mother of the day. Our representative is here to the glory of God. Let's put our hands together. That's the mother of the day, the First Lady of Lagos State. God bless you.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you. Thank you, ma. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we want to also recognize the wife of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Mrs. Amzat, and to appreciate and present the gift to her will be our Deputy Rector Admin in the person of Dr. Mrs. Ukabam. Please.
On behalf of Yabatech, Wited, we are presenting the Deputy Governor's wife of Lagos State this present for being part of this program. So we appreciate you, ma. Express our sincere wishes to her. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. Yes, we now invite the Deputy Rector from Ilaro Polytechnic, yes, to come and do justice by presenting the gift to our speaker for today, our mother, our supporter. I'm sure we all know that she supports the cause of women passionately. We sincerely appreciate her, and we are privileged to be mentored by her, Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello. Thank you.
On behalf of Wited Yaba chapter, I present you this gift for your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma. Yes. And finally, to present the gift to our wonderful mommy, the national coordinator of Wited Nigeria, we invite Dr. Achilike, who is representing the rector of Akanu Federal Polytechnic, to come and present to Dr. Mrs. Amadi, Dr. Regina Amadi. Yes, ma, please, ma.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Yaba College of Technology, Lagos. Hello, are we here? On behalf of Wited chapter of Yaba College of Technology, we present this gift to our national coordinator, who has been very dogged and supportive of the organization. Congratulations, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, that brings us to the end of the gift presentation. We just want to have a group photograph. Please, Wited members, please, let there be decorum, most especially at the back there. We want to have a quick group photograph with our dignitaries at the high table before we take pictures amongst ourselves. Group photo. Yes.
Hello. We've just ended the first part of this conference. The technical section will commence by 2:30 at catering restaurant, at Food Tech Building, Food Tech Building. You all agree with me that for A and B? Okay. Food Tech Building, second floor, A and B. That is where the technical section will hold. We want to appreciate our guests. We thank you for coming. We want to appreciate staff and students. We thank you for coming. I want to appreciate everybody. It has been a very wonderful opening ceremony. Let me inform here that it was streamed live The technical section will begin at 2:30 at Food Tech Building, second floor, A and B. This is for the information of people that will be taking part. Please don't go back to your offices. So, second floor, A and B, Food Tech Building. This program was also live on Yabatech Radio 89.3 FM.
Yes, it's.